I was going to go easy on you, not to hurt your feelings.
You f***ing irritate the shit out of me!
I'm only going to get this one chance. It's just a feeling I've got. Like something's about to happen, but I don't know what.
All I hear, go get the money. So I go get it. Hate means I do something right. So I'ma let
Eddie!
All I hear, go get the money. So I go get it. Hate means I do something right.
What's going on, my man? Can you hear me okay?
Oh, there you are. Yeah, can't see you.
Oh, my bad.
Hey,
How you doing, bro?
How you doing, dog?
I'm good.
All right, I like to hear that. You've been paying attention?
A little bit.
A little bit.
I'm just trying to find out how I got you kind of like in a little PIP on my screen. I got to make you bigger. All right, here we go.
All right. So, this one is not live, but it'll be edited and posted to social media.
Okay.
So, any questions before we get started?
Man, any questions before we get started? No, man, I'm just excited. I'm excited to honestly get some of your feedback. Loved your book. A lot of great information that was inside of there. So, yeah, I think I'm kind of locked in. So
All right. So here we go, my man. 3, 2, 1. Brother, you have 15 minutes to sell me on why I need to buy or if I should buy whatever it is you sell. All I see is Toshiba, so I'm thinking copiers or cars or some shit. So it's all yours, baby. I'm listening.
Gotcha. First of all, man, I wanted to thank you for your time. I appreciate you clarifying that we do have 15 minutes today for me to basically learn a little bit more about your business and identify if it even makes sense for us to work together in the long run. But honestly, I just kind of want to take some time to ask you a little bit more about your business and identify, like I said, if it makes sense for us to even continue this conversation. So first things first, I know you said you heard about Toshiba, first thing you thought about was copiers, which is honestly ironic because most of the time people think TVs and laptops. But it is copiers that I actually sell. So I appreciate that you brought that up. My primary role is basically identifying, your current print space and helping you identify if you can start digitizing documents and things like that. But I'm not going to talk a whole lot about myself because this call is more so about you and what I can identify from you. So if you could take the next maybe minute, 2 minutes to describe how you're currently set up with your printing and scanning.
That's going to be pretty easy. I got a HP HP M277 printer, scanner. I think it probably faxes too, but no one faxes anymore. So printer scanner thing sitting right next to me. That's it. That's my copy world right there. Oh, and copier. Yeah. Printer scanner copier. It copies. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it copies too.
Gotcha. Okay. So when you create documents and everything for your trainings and things that you go out and about, how do you typically produce those documents? Are you outsourcing those?
Good question. Yes, it's exactly what we do. We buy, I don't know who we outsource it to. Sorry.
Okay.
Grady does that. But we outsource it to some company and we buy them. Oh, we do a FedEx.
Okay.
Yes, we outsource to FedEx. And so we order in bulk and they ship us, I don't know if she does maybe 200 or 300 at a time. I'm not exactly sure how many at a time, but we do it in bulk. They have our file on, like our thing on file. They know how we like to put them together. And she just calls up and says, send me more. And they send them to us.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's pretty solid. Yeah. And if you don't mind me asking, I know you say you buy it in bulk, but do you know how often you're buying those packets or how many impressions you're typically paying for?
It depends on how busy, like it really, it depends, right? Okay. It depends on how many sales we do. So, if we were probably doing it quarterly, I'm going to say that. Did you say how many or how often?
How often? And if you want to answer how many, that'd be great.
Probably quarterly.
Quarterly?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. And do you know how many packages you usually bring in on average?
It goes up. So we're growing. So, yeah. So I think the last time we were like 250, 300, I think.
250, 300 packets, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How many documents are usually per packet? Do you know? Like front and back pages?
I don't know. So this one, our management one, is 40 pages front and back. And I think the I don't want to get up and get it, but the participant guide's probably just maybe a little bigger, for like 45 pages front and back, maybe.
Gotcha. All right. So total, you're usually between 80 and 90 pages in one packet because you're saying front and back. Or you saying?
Oh yeah, just say front and back. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. And do you, just out of curiosity, when you're outsourcing a lot of those items, are you typically finding, do you have any concerns, any issues that maybe they've been late getting them to you or last minute approach and you just didn't have them in time? Can you tell me of any time that may have happened?
Yeah, one time they didn't get it to us on time, so I showed up at the training. I had no books, no training materials, but they had a FedEx around the corner, so they put in the calls, and I think they got it to us within an hour. So that customer had to print off like X amount of versions until they came.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Like how that did it affect maybe your ability to perform while you were there?
Yeah,
or?
It was a shit show. Yeah, absolutely. I want to say actually some came and some didn't. I think like maybe one box of 2 or something like that. I can't remember how. So some people had them. So they were able to copy and make more, but some people didn't have the original. They're just looking at the copied ones versus the people who had it all nicely bound. We had to wait for them to copy them all, and so here's my client ready to start the training, and she's off running around the copier doing 2 sides, trying to crank that out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, yeah, I think she had to make like 30 of them at 25 or something. It was a shit show.
Gotcha. So from what I'm hearing, just to clarify, it sounds like it was kind of a high pressure, high stress situation, trying to find out how to get all those things printed, correct?
Yeah, I didn't like it. No, it was not good.
Okay, so thinking about that, is there anything, knowing that has happened, I know you said it was only one time, but is there anything that you feel as though you would change about your current print and how you're bringing together those print materials for your clients?
Yeah, I want us to keep growing so that I can now order in much larger bulk and pay even less.
Gotcha. And if you don't mind me asking, if you have these numbers handy, do you know how much you pay per sheet, or they typically charge you a per packet price?
I don't know if they charge me per packet or per sheet, but I think it's maybe $15 to $20 per packet. I think
$15 to $20 per packet. If you don't mind, I'm gonna do some quick math just so I can get an idea of what that is per sheet.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because if you're saying, let's say I always like to go from the low end, right? So let's say it's $15 per sheet. Oh, I'm sorry, per packet. You said it's usually about 80 pages front and back when you think about it, correct?
What I'm saying is it's usually 15 to 20. I think I'm right. For this whole thing done.
So that whole thing is 15.
Yeah.
20. Okay.
Each.
Gotcha. And inside of there, you're saying is 40 pages front and back. So in total, it's 80 pages.
No other way around. 20
so
pages.
20 pages front and back, 40 pages total.
Yeah.
So you're basically, based off of that math, all I did 15 divided by 40 pages.
Yeah.
You're basically paying 0.375. So about 36 cents per page in order to print that over at FedEx.
Probably that sounds about right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. And based off of that, it's curious that you say that, because another thing that you brought up was your assistant. You said she had to go back and forth and trying to print off all those papers that one time when you had that issue.
No, the client did. The client did.
Oh, the client did. So that's even more of a of an issue that was inside of there. Okay. So what I guess my thought process behind that is, if we found out a way, because I know you said one of your biggest goals is be able to scale, right, and grow and be able to bring a lot of those things in-house because you want to pay a lesser per page price, right?
I didn't say bring in house. You said bring in house. I said I just want to figure out a way to reduce the price and order more. It'll lower.
That is very true.
Yeah.
So based off of that statement, then, if I found a way to start basically reducing that per page price and being able to now maximize your ability to print those documents and all those information that you need to go into these individual clients, and drastically kind of bringing down that price so that you can have it on time and avoiding that opportunity where you have to subject yourself to possibly not getting a shipment on time from FedEx. Is that something that you would definitely want to learn more about?
I'm trying to be nice here because I hate those questions. So I'm going to ask the question differently. It was a terrible question. Don't ever ask a customer if you could do something like that, if that would make it better. It's a dumb question.
Okay.
Because the only answer should be yes, but actually there's so many answers reasons I could say no. So I'm going to say no. Now ask me different questions because there's so much you've left out. There's so much you don't know about where I'm sitting right now.
Okay. It's a great. I don't even know how to segue that then.
All right. So I say, but what don't you know? So right now, all you're focused on is my printing.
Right.
You said something a second ago. You said something about at the very end of that little diatribe of that silly question about if I could, would. I hate that. Everybody listen, if I could, would you? Stop that.
Okay.
We were on that whole diatribe and then you said they get there on time. Do you do shipping?
We don't do shipping.
Okay. So what don't you know about my business right now that you didn't figure out?
I guess you're shipping. Where is it shipped to?
Okay, but what do you know about what do you want to know about my business? Think about my business.
I mean, I want to know if you're currently bringing those documents or open to bringing those documents in house.
No, you're trying right now to sell a copier. Stop. Try to understand my business. Okay. What did I tell you about that one opportunity? What happened? That one where it went sideways. What happened?
You said that there was basically you did not have the shipment and everything from FedEx.
Yes. Okay.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, keep going. So therefore what?
You had to have one of your clients print off all the documents, and it made it seem like you yourself was a shit show.
Good. So how could you have solved that problem?
Instead of having to wait for shipping, you could have printed all those things in-house on a Toshiba copier.
Good. So stay with me. What don't you're missing? There's a big gap you're missing here. There's a huge assumption you're making. I could have printed them off at home, yes. Or in the office, yes.
Right.
But what is your assumption right now? I said FedEx didn't deliver. I'm trying to lead you, not give you the answer. Do not deliver the participant guides. Mm-hmm. What don't you know right now?
I guess when you made that order?
No. You are so in your copier head right now. No. Here's your hint. FedEx. Dog. My ass in my company's in Denver.
Right.
I did this training in Seattle.
Okay.
How is printing this shit in my place have fixed that problem? It wouldn't. I still have to have that shit fucking shipped. Gotcha. Right? So what you don't know about my business is where I'm pushing you on this is you needed to ask business-oriented questions. Tell me a little bit about this training you do.
Okay.
Right? And do these trainings happen locally or on the road? Where do you take these trainings? Right? Where do you do these trainings? Because here's the bottom line. How many people sit in a training at a time, right?
Right.
You honestly think, with all due respect, and maybe you can change my mind here, but you honestly think that I'm going to start printing out 50 of these things at a time, put them in a box, and carry them on a plane with me?
No, not carry on a plane with you, but ship them. You could.
Okay, so now if I have to ship them, you'd have to. So if you had asked these questions and got to the shipping piece, then you'd have to convince me that 0.36% includes the shipping. Oh no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. But no, it doesn't. It doesn't. But I have to deal with the shit. It's all done. I make a phone call. It's off.
Right.
So now you have to explain to me how printing them by you, not by you, but getting a copier, having one of my people print them, bind them, and then get them to FedEx.
Right.
That's a whole different ballgame, isn't it?
It is.
So I'd have to have a pretty big problem, right, to want to go that route.
That's very true.
Right. Another way to look at it too is we're all remote. Everybody's a remote-based business. All of us work from, well, not everybody. Some of them, I have a work, what do you call that place? We work space that I let people use as well. I just never go. So there isn't like an office. Oh my God. There isn't an office that we're all working from that has a FedEx right outside of it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And there's only 4 of us. So it's not like I have someone whose job I want printing, binding, collating, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? All of these spending a day doing that. So what I'm anticipating, and then I'll give you a chance to sort of try to do it again if it makes sense, is to me, it feels like a bigger problem if I were to buy a printer, not a smaller problem.
Yeah, I mean, understandably so. And that's like your primary thought in that sense. And like I said, it could end up, the conversation could end up in a spot where it doesn't make sense for us to work together, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get you to. I'm trying to get you to there. Yes,
absolutely. Because if you personally feel as though that the shipping side of it, and obviously not wanting to have all these like kind of dedicate manpower to doing that. I could definitely understand that maybe you wanted them to spend more time on revenue building activities compared to just printing paper or training materials and things like that. So again, it could come down to a conversation of, okay, maybe that's just not a good fit for you because it's not something that you feel as though is going to be beneficial.
What do you think? What do you think?
I think personally, I think there's a cost savings that you can have in regards to how much you're paying for printing right now, because 38 cents a page is very high in the printing industry, especially with one client that I literally just helped out who was spending over $5,000 a month on printing, because they were using the same model that you're using, is basically going everything through FedEx and having it all printed out. But when you bring into your case, that sense of I needed to be shipped and delivered to the different places where I am. I mean, there's other ways that you can think around it. Maybe if you printed it off and shipped it beforehand before you left. I don't know, but I don't know how flexible. That's another thing maybe on my side I can figure out is how quickly maybe you may have a training in Seattle and then maybe you didn't have a book training that was in Texas. So now how do you figure out, if I didn't plan on shipping that down to Texas before I left for Seattle, how do I get those documents and then trainings back down there? Because then it might put you back in the same situation of having to go through FedEx. So I think it was kind of on me to find out more about that.
Yes.
How your trainings are set up and how.
Yes, that's the whole point of gap selling, right? Yep. You look, you ask better questions than most people who've done this so far, so good on you, right? But your whole head, all of your questions were asked to try to figure out how to get me to buy your printer.
Right.
We're not designed to understand my business.
Gotcha.
You see the difference?
Yeah.
If you're 100% committed to solve the problems of my business and to understand my business,
right,
then the printer will come later. Like that's just easy. Like that's easy. So instead of like the whole train of thought you were on look, you asked decent questions, I'll give you credit, was all about questions to get me to buy your printer. Let go of that connection and just try to understand my business. So when I told you that I do training, you didn't ask me how many trainings I do in a year.
Right.
You didn't ask me how many people are in the trainings.
Right.
You didn't ask me where the trainings were done. Right? So you'd ask any of that stuff. So you had really no understanding of what I actually do. So therefore, then when you don't have an understanding of actually how it works, you're not able to find a problem. You're trying to sell on this notion that it's all about ROI, right? Look, I as a small company right now, look, if you did a great job and this is possible, you might be able to convince me, but I don't want, like you said it, I have no desire to have my, one of my 25% of my company, which is, there's only 4 of us, right? Spending hours printing off a copier, collating, and then putting it in a 3-ring binder. You know what I'm saying? I don't want them to have to order 3-ring binders off of Amazon and have them put in some place in inventory. Do you see what I'm saying? And I don't want them buying a shitload of paper and putting it in inventory. And I don't want them to have to do that. And then literally when it comes time, once a month or once a quarter, whatever it is, sit in front of a printer for 3.5 hours, printing it all out, and then putting it in here, and then stuffing this, right? Like that I'll gladly pay.
Right.
I will gladly pay right now 30 cents a page.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Right. And so here's another one for you too, right? Like, I am not too worried about it. You didn't ask me how much do people pay per seat. So if you think about it from a profit perspective, if I'm giving this to each person and it costs me $15 to make this and it's $100 seat, then that's 15% of my profit.
Right.
Might have my attention, right? Keenan, that's 15%. That's kind of a lot, right? If I tell you it's $1,000 per person, do you think I care about that $15?
Nope.
And I only have to carry this inventory when somebody actually, buys my product, right?
Right.
So it's not like I got inventory churns or I got a bunch of this stuff sitting around wasting money, right?
Right.
Sorry.
Yep.
So that if you had found out all of that, I think, oh my God, I think your natural conclusion would have been like, I wouldn't buy one either.
Right.
And that's where I want you to get.
Okay.
When you said a minute ago, you said, well, Keenan, if you don't think you should do it, if you don't think it would be valuable, sorry.
You're good.
I want you to be able to look your buyer in the eye and say, Keenan, this doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
I don't know why you would do this.
Right.
Right? You got enough information as you're processing, you're like, no, he should not do this. Even if he wants to buy it, he's like, hey, I want your copy. He's like, I'll sell it to you, but I'm confused. Keenan, I'm making up the number, but you get $1,000 per person in your training, $15. You got your salespeople in your admin people doing other things. I don't know why you would do this. It makes no sense.
Right.
Does that make it right? And you still, once you do it all, then you have to ship it anyways. So FedEx is gonna have to come anyways. So you still gotta rely on them to a certain degree anyways.
Right. Yeah.
Right? You come to the conclusion and you tell me it shouldn't be done. Don't let me get to the conclusion first. You get there first.
Okay. That makes sense.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Was that helpful?
Absolutely.
Okay, so here's my final piece. You got to find the problem first. You can't tell me what my problem is. You have to find my unique, specific problem.
Gotcha.
You can't assume what it is, and just because I'm in this good example, right? Your assumption, because you were trying so hard to sell your printer and not understand my business, you were just assuming that my problem was money, weren't you?
Not necessarily. It was. I felt like, so yes, that was the primary. I think primary was like, okay, I can save you a lot of money just based off what you just told me.
Yep.
But second was identifying that you had an issue of I guess, kind of loss of face when you showed up.
You couldn't solve that problem.
You said I couldn't solve that problem?
Nope, you couldn't solve that problem.
I mean, yeah.
Right? Because remember, they didn't show up. It wasn't a printing problem.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Right? I was in Seattle. So whether God dang, I'm a popular dude. So whether we printed them ourselves in some FedEx, or FedEx printed them and shipped them to us. It doesn't change the fact they didn't show up.
Right.
So you couldn't solve that problem, could you?
No, because I don't ship it. I don't control it.
That's what I'm saying. This is where I'm trying to get your head in the right place, right? You gotta really hear the problem in the statement. So after this conversation, you literally kept thinking, well, the other problem I wanted you to save face. I love that you wanted me to save face, but you didn't connect to the fact that you couldn't have solved that problem. Even if I'd been using you back then, that still would have happened.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. So do you see the importance? You have to find problems that you personally can solve. Well, you, Toshiba, can solve.
Yep.
And so your ability to dig in and ask questions about that and just try to understand someone's business, my man, that's where you're going to win.
Awesome. Sounds like a plan.
You okay?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Did this help?
Yeah, definitely.
Did you learn anything?
Definitely.
What are you going to do different?
Ask better questions to learn more about the overall business instead of forcing them into a box of a copier.
All right, baby. How'd it go, Eddie Thomason? Thomason. Sorry, baby. All right. So I want you to reach out to me after you try this for a while. Let me know how it works. Let me know and if you feel anything different. Read Gap Selling again. It talks about it. So refresh your memory. Okay.
Yep.
All right, man. I give you credit for coming on. This was pretty dope. I'm proud of you.
Appreciate it.
Yep. And for the rest of you, if you want to come on and you want to get 15 minutes of my time, if you're selling a real thing and you find a real problem, I'll buy it. But you got to gap sell me. Find my problem. All right. So you people know what I'm going to say. Eddie, thank you very much, brother. Until next time. Peace.
Thank you for the time, man.
All I hear, go get the money. So I go get it. Hate means I do something.